Welcome back to Giant Monster Games. I'm Adrian, and we are playing Mono Blue Budget Mono Blue Control. What do we think of this opening hand? I have two. I think it's actually a really good opening hand. I mean, I will keep it. I think I'm going to keep it very much. We are actually on the draw again, like every single time I play this deck, I swear. Which sucks because this deck needs to be on the play to like really get the maximum efficiency because we want to basically be countering any of their turn 2 stuff, which doesn't really happen in this case. I mean, obviously we had Serum Visions would be okay in our opening hand, but we don't. So we're kind of playing a little bit behind. Anyways, yeah, how are you guys today? How are you guys enjoying the video so far? This is a deck. We are playing in the just for fun area, which isn't necessarily just for fun. I mean, it tends to be a lot of like kind of budget decks, people that are playing that want to play Magic that don't need to play competitive top 8 decks, which is fine. I mean, there is some other videos. I think the video that may come up either the same day as this one or come up tomorrow is actually against a top 8 deck. Actually, it is against the worst possible matchup for our deck, so you can look forward to that. And we draw Spreading Seas, which is actually fantastic. What is our opponent playing here? What is this? It is a Desert that cycles, and this is target player puts the top card of his library into the graveyard. Neat. I don't think we need to play Spreading Seas. We have 2 of them, which is pretty cool. I don't think we're going to play it. I think we're just going to mana leak whatever he plays on his turn. Next turn. So, yeah. Anyhow, as I said, the other video is against our worst possible matchup, which is Burn. Obviously, we're not playing against Burn. We're playing against something else. I'm not really sure what we're playing against, to be quite honest. Kind of a puzzling question to me. Hopefully, it's something that's reasonably interesting and hopefully somewhat competitive. So it is a good match. What is this? This is recycling a land. Sure. I can't counter that. Just putting up weird art, or no art. It's kind of strange. My MTGO does that sometimes, if you're asking, which everyone asks is like, why does it put up like random weird art, or sometimes there's like blue and pink lines across stuff. It's because my MTGO is weird. It's always done it, since like literally the beginning of time, since I started using it. And our opponent goes to land step, so we will just think twice, draw a card, why not, get some card draw, and then we're going to go to our turn, and hopefully we can start doing some stuff to our opponent. We have another Spreading Seas. Really? We draw another Spreading Seas. So we now have 3 Spreading Seas in our hand. And our opponent's playing blue, which means Spreading Seas is really not effective. So, yeah, that is a thing. And, I mean, we do have technically another mana leak, and we do have mana leak in Essence Warden, or Essence Scatter. Because our opponent seems like they're doing green and blue, I think we're just going to Spreading Seas his... We're going to Spreading Seas his forest, just to get another card draw and get rid of one of our Spreading Seas, and hopefully pin down a little bit of his lands. Spreading Seas are going to be coming out. As soon as we go to sideboard, we are getting rid of Spreading Seas, and we're going to be actually putting in something more relevant. I'm not sure what that relevancy is yet, but something more relevant. Anyways, something that I've been wanting to talk to you guys about for quite some time is I actually want to get around to uploading videos every single week. Obviously not every single day. I have a full-time job. I can't do this. That would be awesome, but it's not something I can physically do. And he is tapping it for what? Oh, this is like pay life. Oh, he's going to counter my ability. That's super funny. So this is pay life as well. That's sure. Okay. He's also going to get like a 5/5 flyer, or 3/1 flyer, which is not so cool. I guess this is where you should be playing control. Oh, no, he's cycling it. Why wouldn't he play that? Why would he have not played? Okay, well, okay, sure. If that's what you want to need to do, I'm not gonna judge what you want to do. Anyhow, getting around to talking about things that I want to do, which is the big thing I want to do is start uploading videos every single week, which would be I would be uploading like probably Friday through the weekend, because usually it takes me the entire week to get videos up or videos recorded and put together, and then I can usually kind of get stuff to put together on the weekend as well. So the weekend is always better for me to be uploading videos and putting videos up. So right now I have the Budget Deck Tech series, which is you guys obviously know about because you're watching it right now. You're watching one of the videos associated with it. Sphinx's Tutelage. So we were playing against a mill deck, by the way. A weird mill deck, but a mill deck nonetheless. Oh, it's like a cycling mill deck. I see what he's doing. That's neat. That's super neat. Okay. This shouldn't be very hard for us to beat from this point on, because we do want stuff in our graveyard. So neat. Think twice is always good, and our Cryptic Servant gets even better when there's stuff in our graveyard. So that's cool. So the other series that I've been thinking about doing, other than the budget deck tech series, when obviously, I say obviously, but something you guys need to know is like I physically can't just do a budget deck tech series like every single day. That is like a physical impossibility for me, because do I play another Spreading Seas? I don't know on what. Like what am I gonna do here? What am I seriously actually gonna add? So enters the battlefield. He can cycle this. Sacrifice it. Target player puts the top 4 cards of his library into the graveyard. I'm tempted to just Spreading Seas that, just so I have another draw. Because otherwise I'd just play Think Twice for 3. So let's just Spreading Seas. Yeah, let's just Spreading Seas that. And then we might actually Tectonic Edge his other one later on, so he gets rid of a bunch of mana, so he can't be doing as much stuff. And we draw a card. Card draw being what? If it's a Curious Monculus, we're going to play it immediately. But it's telling time. Neat. Okay, shift our opponent's turn. So the other series, because I just physically can't do... so digressing, I'm just going to talk about this and actually just play without actually talking. So you guys are going to have to deal with me not explaining what I'm playing right now, but talking about this new series idea. So Sphinx's Tutelage. So the idea being that I can't do budget deck techs every single week. The amount of work they take to put together the decks, playtest them, so I actually know that they work, because I don't really want to be showing you guys decks or be like, I have this theory for this cool deck, and then it's not actually very good. I mean, that doesn't seem like something anyone wants to be getting, is like a deck tech of a deck that doesn't really work, that just seems like it might work. And what do I do? I think we're just going to... Oh, he milled us a bunch. So we have Think Twice. We have 3 Think Twice in our graveyard. That's super funny. And I think Telling Time is a better option. So I just physically can't put together budget deck decks every single week. Well, I work a full-time job. It just is. It's not physically doable. But there is a variety of other stuff. I think what's going to go put into a card in our hand. You're going to a hand. Negate, I guess, goes into our thing, and Essence Scatter goes in the bottom. But there's a bunch of other decks that I've been thinking about doing, or other video series that I'm thinking about doing. The big one being actually that kind of like a revisit series, you might want to call it, where this is paying for 2, where we basically take a look at videos I've done in the past, like the Soul Sisters deck, or the Mono Black Control deck, or the Elementals deck, or whatever, and look at what has come out since that deck has come out, because some of these are like getting around to about a year old now, and like what stuff can we add? What cards are good for this deck now? And how can we, upgrade that deck, really? Or in some cases, you guys have suggested really good suggestions that, maybe even better for the deck, so we can actually look at those and say, this is actually an upgrade to this deck. And then with that, we can also do some new gameplay videos with that, because there's a bunch of decks that don't have gameplay videos, so those would be the priorities, so doing those ones first. So, I mean, like, Soul Sisters doesn't have gameplay videos, Elves doesn't have gameplay videos, Elementals doesn't have gameplay videos. I think those are the only 3, actually. And do I mana leak it? Yeah, I think we mana leak it. Mana leak is the option. Oh yeah, for 2. Because it's 2. Sorry, I thought we had Curious Monculus in play, but we don't. And he doesn't draw cards this way either. Redoing those videos, which would be, I think, a good idea. On top of that, I mean, a lot of people have mentioned that the music that I put with my gameplay videos, I mean, obviously not with these videos, and I've stopped kind of putting the music underneath. The music, as much as it like adds a lot of energy right away, it gets really grating after like 20 minutes. When you're watching like a 20-minute video, it is really, really, really irritating because, yeah, it's not fun. Not fun for anyone. Not fun for me, because I went back and rewatched some of these videos and say, is it really that bad? Yeah, it's really that bad. So looking at different ways of making stuff like that better for you guys, and redoing the video, a bunch of the gameplay videos is, I think, actually probably the best way of doing that. So redoing a bunch of videos with redoing a bunch of the gameplay videos so they're not so grating to watch, and also redoing some of the decks that maybe have upgrades. So this is one series that I'm thinking about doing. And let me know if you guys think that's an interesting idea, or if you don't think that's an interesting idea. Additionally, I'm also thinking of another series that is it would be like a once-a-month series, because it would actually take a little bit of time to put together. But because it would be like a once-a-month thing, it would be a lot less crazy to do. Is our opponent playing something? He's tapping stuff. And this series would be a like, how do you play against X deck, whatever deck. Okay, so our opponent's gonna take this damage, and we will spreading sleeves this guy. 1-2. Yeah, because I get a draw card this way. So it would be, how do you play against deck whatever? So example, how do you play against and beat Tron? How do you beat and play against Dredge? How do you play Lantern Control, and so on and so forth? So it would be an in-depth look at what do those decks do. So kind of like a pseudo deck tech, if you will. And then it would also be a like how to beat those decks. When you're playing whatever color. So we'd be going through and looking at, like, if you're playing a blue deck, what cards do you need to put in your sideboard, or what cards do you need to put in your actual deck if you're playing a little more casual. Oh, our opponent is playing something. I bet they're going to cycle a card. Yeah, they're cycling. So if you're playing like blue, what cards do you need to put into your sideboard or into your actual deck? Because if you're playing casual, you may not actually have a sideboard. I mean, I know a lot of players, because I play casual as much as I play non-casual, that don't have a sideboard, and they play with a bunch of friends, and if they're playing against friends that are always playing Dredge, okay, well, these are the cards you need to be putting in your deck to play against Dredge. And we would do this for all of the potential colors. So we'd go through blue, and we'd go through black and white and red and green, and like what cards can you put in, and like what cards are good against that specific deck. So if we're learning against how do you beat Dredge, we would look at all the ways that you beat Dredge, for lack of a better way of putting it. And I think this would be a really neat series because it would allow me to like explore some other territory, and it would also give people that are maybe wonderful creature. Okay, and it would also, I think, give a lot of people an interesting way of looking at how do those decks work as well, because I'm sure that you guys, just like me, because there was definitely a point where someone's like, oh yeah, Dredge, and I'm like, oh okay, Dredge deals with graveyard stuff. I need to put graveyard hit in, but I don't really know how to play against Dredge. I mean, I remember I played at the GP in Montreal, Canada, because that's where I'm from. And I remember I played against Dredge, and I just totally got wrecked. I totally should have played this card at the end of my turn. I didn't. Not very good. Lame. Anyways, so I remember when I was playing at the GP in Montreal here, I played against Dredge, and I think I was playing Soul Sisters at the time, and I had a couple options. I knew I had to deal with stuff in his graveyard, and I think I had a Surgical Extraction, because Surgical Extraction is a fantastic, dealing with certain dex cards that you can put in anything because you just pay life rather than actually playing black mana. And I was like, okay, I need to get rid of something in his graveyard, and my opponent was just like, sure, what do you want to get rid of? Just like, it's up to you. I'm okay. You can choose whatever you want to get rid of in my graveyard. And I did this kind of like, I guess I'm going to get rid of your Golgari Grave Troll. And he's like, sure, whatever, gone. And then it turned out that this was the absolute wrong choice for me to do. I think we're going to go Telling Time, guys. Specifically because I could use another beater to close out the game next turn. Curious Homunculus can go into our hand. Island, I guess? Either way, yeah, so I chose the wrong card, and our opponent just sure, yeah, that's fine. And then my opponent just proceeded to continuously beat me down because I made the wrong choice. I didn't quite know the deck well enough, and I just made the wrong call on what card I should have been actually grabbing out of my graveyard. Or destroying out of his graveyard. And this happens with all kinds of stuff. If you're like, what are you sideboarding in? What's good against this? What's good against that? And I'm not always the best at sideboarding, but I know the top 8 decks when you're playing other top 8 decks, like what cards you're putting in against stuff. When you're playing at something like this, you kind of just need to think, what am I putting in here against it? But it would be a way of you guys learning about what do you... I'm just going to pass always yield in this. So what would you put in against whatever kind of deck we're talking about, and how do you actually beat that deck? What do you need to do to theoretically cripple that deck if you're playing against it? So yeah, this is what that series would be about, and I think it would be really neat. I would enjoy putting together the series, but again, it's something I want to know if you guys are more interested in hearing about and seeing, rather than me just kind of putting it together and throwing a test video out there. Because I've done that with a bunch of other stuff. If you look through the channel, I've done a ton of I think this would be a neat series, and I put it together, and it's okay. It's not amazing. It's okay. Yeah, Yeah. Do I mana leak that? Yeah, I do mana leak it. He's not cycling this time. He's actually drawing 2 cards. Yeah, so I mean, I think this would be a neat series, and I'd rather you guys say, yeah, I'm interested in this or interested in that. Or if both of these series or neither of these series sound at all interesting to you, then sure. I mean, that's totally fine. I don't need to do either of them, to be quite honest. So, yeah, let me know what you think of those series and if they are at all interesting to you guys. So, okay. Our opponent literally is just like playing this crazy cycle deck. So, but yeah, that's kind of what I've in the process of doing, and yeah, that's. I think I've said yeah like 7 times. Okay, our opponent scoops. We are going to sideboard. That was a really long game. So he doesn't really have creatures, so we can actually just kind of go all in on the creature package here. Do we need Tormod's Crypt? I don't think we do. Dispel, Pithing Needle. I don't think Pithing Needle is going to help us either, because he doesn't really have anything that's activated so much. Ceremonious Rejection, Dispels, I guess, can go in, sort of. Actually, you know what we need to do? We need to get stuff into our graveyard. So Boomerangs are actually pretty good. Dispels can come out. Most everything else can stay in. The Spreading Seas can come out because they do not help us at all. Because our opponent's basically like mono blue / green lands that cycle. So there's no point in putting Spreading Seas in. And I think that's going to be good to run back as is. Sundroplet is not going to help us. Oh, Essence Scatter. Actually, all of the Essence Scatters can come out. Because I didn't see a single creature in his deck. So, yeah. Might as well fill up with other stuff. And our opponent just scooped the match. So our opponent doesn't even want to play against us anymore. That is lame. Anyhow, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I mean, obviously we played 1 game, not 2. But I did tell you about some of my master plans coming up. Let me know what you guys think of those, and if those are interesting to you, and if those are actually things you'd like to see. Until next time, though, I'm Adrian, this is Giant Monster Games, and don't forget to game like a giant monster.